Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to clean the pots on your amp. But this video would also serve many other devices, anything that's got a potentiometer for volume control and so forth. This is a mid-80s Peavey Backstage Plus, and I've got an 80s Roadstar. Ibanez Roadstar up there, so we'll keep it 80s theme here, but my saturation knob is cutting out. And that's no good, so I don't really use this amp, but I just fired it up the other day and discovered that. The other pots are pretty good, but I'll probably just clean them up while I have it apart. So, alright, let's start taking it apart. Alright, on this amp, I do have a reverb pan here. So I'm going to unhook the reverb, which is basically unplugs. Okay, and then I'm going to remove the speaker wires, and of course you want to keep track of the polarity on these, so you want to make sure that they go back on the same way that you take them off. So I've got yellow first, then blue. Sometimes just saying it to yourself will make a difference, but if not, write it down or make a video like I am. And I'm just going to feel around here, make sure I don't have any other ground wires or anything. It looks like we're good. Alright, next I'm going to remove these 4 Phillips screws here on the top. And those should come up pretty easily. And what I'm going to do is, before I actually remove them all the way, I'm just going to make sure that I'm supporting the lower part of the amp, just to make sure it doesn't drop out or anything. The front is kind of wedged in, but the back could drop. This little amp probably not, but some heavier ones, you'd want to support it. Okay, so you can see what I mean about the back of the amp. It's kind of floating, and I'm just going to reach around the front here and give it a push. Let's see if I can start to wedge this out. You know, I don't use this amp a lot, but I do like it. And, you know, it was built in a time when manufacturers were proud to stamp this on it, made in the USA. It's on the front and the back. And I don't think very many entry-level amps, 35 watt amps that are considered entry level, would be made in the USA anymore without spending big bucks. There we go. Alright, for the next part of the job here, I've moved out to the garage because I'm using this contact cleaner. So you want to get some kind of electronics cleaner, contact cleaner. You do not want to use spray lubricant like WD-40 or anything like that, because it's going to leave a residue, and you don't want that. Okay, what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see here, but basically there are these openings on the bottom of the potentiometer. I don't know if you can see, but right there on the bottom of each one of these, and they may be a little bit different on your amp, so you'll have to kind of check it out. It's not going to do me any good to take this PC board out, so I'm going to leave it right in there and just bend the nozzle up in there. I'm going to give each one a pretty heavy dose, and then I'm just going to reach out around the front and work it back and forth. And, you know, I'm not going to be skimpy with it either. Okay, so let's go ahead and... The one I was really concerned about was the saturation, which is the center one right here. Okay, let me zoom it back out here. I'm going to do them all since we took it apart. And you'll actually be able to feel a difference when you get it in there. It's going to be a lot smoother. And if you have like a push-pull knob, you know, work every mechanism or every physical movement. Okay, there's that one. And you know, you might have luck by removing the knobs and spraying the contact cleaner down in this way. Sometimes you can get it down in there enough, but from my experience, it doesn't work as well as doing it this way. So I'm going to give it another blast here. I'm going to continue on to get the rest of these done, and then we'll go put it back together and test it out. Alright, so we could test out the knobs while it was out here, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it back together. If you do decide to test it, obviously you take precautions. Don't touch any of the electronic components or ground anything out. And you may have to finagle that in there a little bit. Let me move the camera. What I'm going to do is just put a screw down here and just kind of line it up with the hole so I know I'm getting it in the right spot. And I'll finger tighten one screw if I can, just to get it started. Once you get one, usually it's easier to get everything lined up. That holds true for a lot of different things, I guess. I have fasteners. And it looks like I didn't get it. A little bit more. There, I got it that time. I thought about selling this amp. I thought I was holding on to it for my kids. I thought my kids would take an interest in guitar. And my oldest son is pretty good at the acoustic, but he really doesn't have much interest in electric. So I thought about selling this because I'm looking to get into the world of tube amps here. And but the thing is, you're not going to get much for it. You know, I mean, this amp's probably only going to bring $50 to $75 if I'm lucky, and it's a good amp. You couldn't buy an amp for that that sounds this good. And that's been taken care of, you know. The thing is, I take care of all my stuff, so. And I feel the same way about my guitars. Guitars I don't play very often, like the Roadstar. I've got a Washburn from the late 80s that, you know, it doesn't sound particularly good. It's got a plywood body, but it looks really nice. And I'm not going to get much for it if I do sell it, so it's kind of like I might as well hold on to it because it's fun to break out every once in a while. In fact, I'll break it out when we test it here. The Roadstar is an 85 and the Washburn is an 88, so like I said, we'll keep with the 80s theme here. Alright, so what do we say here? Yellow first, and then blue on the speaker. And then we have our reverb. That's it. I'll spin it around. Let's test it out. So let's test it out real quick. I broke out the 88 Washburn to keep with the 80s theme as promised. Let's click it on. Already it sounds better. We weren't getting that before because that saturation was cutting out as soon as we were going through the saturation circuit. So everything's real quiet. There's a little bit of scratchiness there. I may have to hit it again. But it's definitely better than it was. And Alright, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video has been helpful. Your amp may be a little bit different, but just keep track of the pieces you take apart in the order that you take them apart in. Reverse the procedure, and good luck. Thanks for watching. Leave questions and comments below.